Well, at this point, I'd like to invite Bernie Berger to our conversation. Bernie's going to talk to us a little bit about, whether or not we're ready. As we start thinking about launching our business, we want to make sure that we're ready. So Bernie, how do I know if I'm ready to start my own business?
Here's what we're going to cover in this session. We're going to cover commitment, pitfalls and solutions, personal inventory, financial considerations, business statistics, reasons for business failure, and where to start. At this point, you should be asking yourself, am I ready to make the commitment? The idea of starting your business is, at this point, very exciting, fun, demanding, challenging, rewarding, and a great deal of hard work and time. It requires balancing commitments. It costs money. It involves taking risks. So during this planning and startup phase, it's going to take almost all your leisure time. It's going to take maybe an average of 60 to 80 hours per week during this planning phase and even during your startup of your business. There are pitfalls to watch for. You can be going in a dozen different directions at once. That can help you lose focus. You can be trying to do everything yourself, resulting in burnout.
It sounds like there's a lot to do here, Bernie. Do you have some solutions to help kind of navigate this for us?
Yes. As we've mentioned earlier, you don't know what you don't know. Becoming fully informed and educating yourself in the process is important. Take the time to plan. Don't rush into this situation. Surround yourself with a good support team of business mentors, including people that have started and been successful in business, that will relate to your situation. Be sure to include your tax accountant and possibly legal counsel, and utilize a good business management coach.
So how do you find a good business coach, Bernie?
Well, there are a number of good resources available to entrepreneurs. A good first place to start is often your local Small Business Development Center, or SBDC as they call it. They're usually part of a college system in your region. They provide assistance with a very wide variety of business planning and business development educational needs. And their services are provided at no cost to the customer. So they're an excellent place to start. Another early contact point would be your region's microlending organization, which typically provides business technical assistance as well as small business loans. And they'll be able to refer you to local resources that are available to you in your area. Your local colleges and community or technical colleges will usually have classes designed to help you start a business. They include creating a business plan. They also usually have small business management programs, which are very good for existing businesses. They help them with certain issues that they might be facing, or simply help the business grow and do the things you want your business to be able to do. The Service Corps of Retired Executives, or SCORE, is another resource that may be available to you in your community. These are retired successful businessmen or women that volunteer their time to assist entrepreneurs with business plans and also will assist existing business owners in analyzing issues they are facing.
If I wanted to start my own business, what are some questions that I should be asking myself?
Well, here's a good laundry list of questions to help you take an inventory of your own personal traits, to help you determine if starting a business is really right for you. Am I a self-starter? Am I good at managing my time? Do I follow through on what I set out to do, or do I procrastinate? Do I accomplish what I set out to do, and can I make the decisions that help me accomplish that? Am I physically able to work long hours, and am I in good health overall? If you do not have good physical stamina to handle the long days, the hard work, and the stress, it might be difficult for you to keep up with the demands of starting a business. Any health concerns you have will probably be aggravated by the stress you'll experience. I've known people whose businesses have failed because the stress was too much for their physical or mental health. And in some cases, their marriage wasn't strong enough to withstand the stress, or family life suffered too much. Be aware of the possible consequences and the fact that life happens situations can derail your plans. The last point on the screen, previous business ownership or management experience, is very, very important. You need to know a lot about your business. You need good management skills to run your business successfully. So on this checklist, if the no's outnumber the yeses, you may wish to rethink the idea of starting a business because they're very important strengths for an entrepreneur.
Bernie, are there any other considerations that we need to take into account as we go through this process?
Yes, there are financial considerations that will play a strong part in success in starting up a business. Ask yourself these questions also. First of all, finances. Do you have the personal net worth? In other words, do you have more personal assets than you owe? Are you highly leveraged? Are your bills paid? Are you current on your debt payments? Are you effective in managing money? If you have trouble managing your own money, it'll be no different for you and your business. Credit scores are important. Banks want to see at least a 650 beacon score on your credit report. Some non-traditional lenders will take into account extenuating circumstances and consider a lower score if there's a good reason. If you have any judgments or collection items, clean them up first before you try to borrow money to start your business. Collection items are frowned upon by lenders and can come back to bite you in the form of garnishments or collection actions by the creditor. There are 3 credit reporting agencies: TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. You can get free reports yearly from all 3 of these agencies through the website www.annualcreditreport.com. But the free report does not include your actual credit score, just the activity on your account and any records of judgments. You need to get your score on at least one of them. Pay the $6 or $7 cost to get your report score, as that's important and it's really needed. And check your credit report regularly, at a minimum every year, to make sure there's no errors or false charges on your record. Next, do I have savings or other assets to fall back on, and outside income to help support my family or myself? Most people can't take money out of a business for a year or more after they start. Can you get by if that's the case? Am I comfortable borrowing money? Most likely, you're going to have to borrow money in your business at some point. Finally, ask yourself, will a lender see me as a good credit risk? If not, what do I have to do to change that perception?
Good point, Bernie. One of the things I'm wondering is, do you have any statistics to share with us on the success rates of businesses?
Yes, I've researched these latest statistics from the U.S. Small Business Administration, or SBA as it's called. Small businesses, which SBA considers as those with 500 employees or less, represent 99% of all employer firms. They provide over half of all private sector jobs and create 64% of net new jobs every year. A very interesting statistic regarding very small or microenterprise businesses is that there are 21 million small businesses without employees. And a very high number of these small businesses are home-based, 52%. Small businesses provide 50% of the gross domestic product in the U.S. And there are 10 million women-owned small businesses with $2 trillion in sales every year.
It's a good point, Bernie. One of the things I was thinking about, I keep hearing these statistics that so many small businesses that are open fail. Do you have any stats on that?
Yes, I do. They're actually better than you might have heard. Looking at actual government statistics, over 600,000 businesses are started every year. 2/3 will survive at least 2 years. 44% survive at least 4 years. And in actuality, new businesses have a 50-50 chance of surviving for 5 years or more. And it is also true that all businesses that close in that time frame pictured here are not necessarily failing. People may shut down their businesses for various personal reasons, including the fact that they simply just don't like being a small business owner.
Let's talk a little bit about why businesses do fail, Bernie.
Yes, that's an important thought, because if you're aware of these reasons, hopefully you can avoid them. The number one reason overall is bad management. This can be in planning, organization, or financial. It can be in managing people, priorities, time. A good tip to avoid this problem is seek help for what you don't do well. Recognize the need early on. Second point here, people go into business for the wrong reasons. I'm going to use an example that we hear often. I want to start a restaurant because I just love to cook, and everybody tells me that my food is the greatest. They think that they'll be happy doing what they love to do, but they don't understand what it will all involve. That build it and they'll come idea that everyone is going to flock to your business, and you're going to make a lot of money and have more time for family, etc. It just doesn't happen that way. The third problem, if you don't do a thorough job of figuring out your startup costs, and understand what your operating costs will be, or if you overestimate your sales or underestimate your expenses, you could have major cash shortfalls. And if you don't have access to additional resources to withstand those shortfalls, your business won't be able to do what you want it to do, and it may cause it to fail. The fourth problem involves location, location, location. We've all heard that statement. If you don't have the right location for your customers, or if it's a location you cannot afford, it can take your business down.
So Bernie, one of the things that, at least for me, you keep coming back to is that it all comes back to planning and making sure you have a good plan and that you follow that plan. Is that correct?
Yes, you're absolutely correct. Critical strategic planning is so important to the startup of your business, but it's also an essential ongoing process. You can't simply write a business plan and then think you can put it on a shelf and you won't have to bother with planning anymore. It's a continual process. Another leading cause of business failure can be overexpansion or too rapid of growth. Business owners can confuse success with how fast they can expand their business. And many a bankruptcy has been caused by rapidly expanding companies that deplete their cash and other resources. A focus on slow and steady growth is actually the best. The last item on this slide is very interesting. Simply put, if you have a business today, you need a website. Period. In the US alone, the vast majority of our population are now internet users. At the very least, every business should have a professional looking and well-designed website that enables users to easily find out about your business and how to avail themselves of your products or services. Additional ways to generate revenue from your website can be added later. You don't have to do it all at once. Remember, if you don't have a website, you'll most likely be losing business to those that do. And make sure your website makes your business look good, not bad. You want to increase revenues, not decrease them. In addition, social networking media, such as Facebook and Twitter, may be a great benefit to your business. There are experts out there to help you with these technologies. You don't have to worry about doing it all yourself.
Oh, that's great information, Bernie. Are there any other things that we need to be concerned about in terms of business failure?
Yes, there are other less common reasons for business failure that can be major factors. Bad luck can happen to anyone. You have to have risk management tools in place like insurance to handle those situations. Sometimes an entrepreneur just gets worn out from running a business, or maybe they just underestimated the time requirements. It gets back to the point of understanding what it takes before you start. Third, maybe their family wasn't on the same page as the entrepreneur, or they can't make enough money from the business to meet the family's needs. This can be an enormous pressure. Even if your business is making money, it may not be enough for what you need. Pride could be an issue. We can't see the writing on the wall, so to speak. We can't let go or change when you need to. There can be a lack of market awareness from not paying attention to their customers' needs or wants. They may fall in love with their product or business because they created it. It was their idea, but they fail to make changes when needed. Lack of financial responsibility and awareness falls right under bad management. But specifically here, we're talking about doing bookkeeping in a timely and accurate manner, watching the financial reports and the bottom line, the business cash flow and cash balance. Cash is king, so they say. So if you can't or don't want to do your bookkeeping, contract with a bookkeeping service or your accountant to do it for you. It's not that costly, and it will allow you to spend more time working on your business instead of in your business. This is so important. Lastly, if the owner is not concentrating on the business or being concerned about knowing what to do, not understanding the business needs, or doesn't have goals, that lack of clear focus can take a business down. So now that you're aware of the considerations, have a good understanding of why businesses fail, you're ready to learn what you need to do to make your business successful.
Well, thanks, Bernie. There's an awful lot that goes into this. So it looks like, just to recap, you need to be realistic. Is that what you're telling us? And that you need to be realistic about your time, your money, and the risks associated with starting your own business. Is that correct? All right, great. So where do we start? How do we gather information to determine where we're going to be going next?